So we're doing something a little different here, and taking a look at some of the crime stats from Columbus, Ohio, from 2024, and then most recently 2025, as you can see here. And I'm doing the research so you don't have to. And I have a background in criminal justice and law enforcement, so I've always been interested in crime data and understanding criminal behavior and things like that. So wanted to take a look here and see what we find. A lot of the data in videos you may find are going to be a little bit older. 2-3 years old is kind of what I found. So this looks pretty recent to me. And we're going to take a look. So this Lexis Nexis community crime map specifically is filtered through all the crimes selected below. Okay. You can go on their website and check this out for your area too. But it's nice because you can kind of see and filter through time periods. So what's showing here is the past 2 weeks. So it doesn't really get a whole lot more recent than that, right? And you can kind of see some of the trends of what we're seeing. West of downtown um, looks pretty bad, and then north of downtown, University District, into the east of that, which is High Street. So a lot up there, and then southeast of downtown as well. You can kind of see those um, bunches of crimes that were reported. Of course, reporting crimes only, right? And then you're going to see a little bit more to the east as well, towards Whitehall, which I thought has been more of a a better area, but I'm not from this area, so if you guys are local, let me know kind of what you find, what you see with this information, if it pertains to you, if it seems relevant. Feel free to chime in. Let me know where you're from as well. But let's take a look here. So this is from reporting from, I think, police departments that are specifically in this area. So what do we have next? Two different heat maps here, and I wanted to show you the similarities and differences. Now, the first one here on the left is gisgeography.com, and then crimegrade.org on the right. So these are both from their website, 2025 data. So don't know when the actual report has been, or when this map has actually been produced, but it's the most recent of what I could find. So on the left, you can still see the crime trends are very similar with what we found in the last slide. You know, directly west of downtown, and then north of downtown, University District, Northeast, and High Street, etc., and then southeast below as well. Now, what I have circled here, you can kind of see on the left, is where the casino is, or where it's not showing the casino, versus the right map where it shows it's all red, and that's where the casino is. So, high gathering crowds, right, are going to show a little bit more differently for crime stats, especially too with the airport. Airport's circled on the right, and the right video, or on the right picture, and then on the left picture, it's not showing anything there, but that's where the airport is. So I don't know if they just get their criteria from somewhere different sources, but in general, these trends look very similar from what it's been in the past. And then at the top circle here on the left and on the right map is where the Easton Shopping Center is, and I'm not sure, it's a mall, I guess. Tons of shopping, tons of chaos, lots of people, lots of teenagers converge there. So I don't know as far as specifics on crime, but it does show it a little bit higher on the right, and it's not even really anything present on the left. So that's kind of what we're seeing, just a little bit of differences there when it comes to the crime maps about what's reporting and what's not. So we're going to get into a little bit more here too. So I got a lot of this information from areavibes.com, and you can kind of select neighborhood, and there's livability. There's all different types of criteria and factors that kind of go into it. They have livability score, and then there's crime scores, things like that. So we're looking at a lot of the dangerous neighborhoods here. This is directly from their website, areavibes.com. You kind of see, okay, higher rates of crime along the I-71 and I-70 corridors. And some of the bad neighborhoods that are listed, right? Linden, Near East Side, Hilltop, South Linden, Franklinton, University. You're going to see a lot of these listed in the most recent reporting as well from the FBI stats. So it kind of shows you, obviously, location and then types of crimes that are specific to that area. We don't need to spend too much time on that, but here's where I really wanted to show you. So I compiled all this data directly from the Area Vibes website as well, and I put it into this chart. Now, it doesn't list everything here, so you'd have to individually find each district and search, and then find what the rates are. But I put everything in a nice chart for you to understand. And you can kind of see the disclaimer here, the crime rates are not available from the FBI's UCR program based on specific crime. I'll show you an example of that on the next slide, but The crime reporting from the FBI covers more than 90% of larger metropolitan areas, which represents more than 309 million U.S. residents. Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit more on that. You can read that on your own. Don't want to spend too much time on that. And the very bottom here, another disclaimer, date and last updated. The data is reflected from the 2024 calendar year, which was released from the FBI in September of 25. Most current data available. Again, they're finding this data, but they're not listing it under specific crime under the districts. Now, general Columbus crime will be listed. They'll list all the violent crimes, property crimes, etc. But number one area, Fort Columbus Airport, and then the crime percentage higher than the national average. Number two, South Linden. Was it Milo, Grogan? I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. And then so on. So number 10 is the Tri-South region is the 10th worst area that I saw in Columbus. You can see the violent crime here as well that I listed, percentage higher than the national average, and then just overall number of incidents reported in 24. Of course, it's based on reported crime, right? A lot of the crime goes undetected. But I just wanted to put this all on a chart for you so you can kind of see it and kind of compare versus some of the previous maps. Maybe you're, trying to figure out what area you want to move to, or just you're curious about crime in general in the area. So here's kind of where I did a lot of the research here, and again, I listed all the zones here, as you can see. So worst one is the Columbus Airport, Fort Columbus Airport. And I put everything, I labeled it nice and neat for you. So 1 through 10, as you can see on the left side, it's corresponding to the number. Now on the right, the top right, I wanted to provide that example for you. So you can kind of see where it says right here, south side. This is directly from the south side. So this is number 8 on the chart, south of Columbus. So you can kind of see what I was talking about, how based on district, it doesn't list specific number of incidents by the crime. It just lists, total crime, and then it separates it by violent crime and property crime. So just total number of incidents, per 1,000 people, or 100,000 people, I should say. And that's kind of how I compiled this data. I'm hoping this is still helpful for you to kind of understand, and, let me know what you guys think of this. The chart here on the back of this map is based on livability, so green is more of a livable score, and it's based more on just, there's about 10 different categories, so it's not just on crime, so don't pay attention really too much to the color of this. Unless you're curious about the livability, you can go to their website and check that out too. So that's pretty much that. And then some last things here to discuss, just some other things to consider. I do a lot of research on Reddit feeds, so these are some of the comments that people are saying in one of the more local posts within the last year. You can kind of see here what to avoid. I know a few people to live in Linden and Hilltop are both pretty sleepy areas, to be honest. You're going to get your car broken into more in Clintonville, live there for 5 years, or campus, frankly. So that's, what is that, just north, or just east, I think, northeast of the campus area, directly north of the University District. Okay, so, I went back. General rule of thumb is to US 670, 71 is the X and Y axis. Try to live in the upper left quadrant, which essentially is what shows where the maps are, right? Some of the safer areas. Hilltop, just do the research on that particular area. About half of it's gentrified these days, so a lot of it's just, flippers are making the area a little bit more livable and a little bit nicer. So I think the crime is kind of shifting outward from there. Don't rent near any of the hospitals. For whatever reason, they're saying that hospitals, they're just bad areas for some reason. Especially the Children's Hospital, they're saying. I think it's on the southeast side. Anything due south of I-70 should be avoided. Stay away from the casino, Broad Street, Franklin's, and Hilltop. So a lot of these neighborhoods are still listed in those crime reports, right? South London is bad. Stay away from Cleveland Avenue. Milo, Grogan is sketchy. Hilltop isn't great either. Okay, so watch out for the BK on 5th Street, too. I guess that's, some people were saying that's pretty bad, so I think there was a couple comments on that. Easton is a terrible area again, especially on Morse, where the shopping district is, and then avoid Short North off of High Street, directly north of the downtown district. So that's it for now. Let me know what areas you want to see next. I hope you found this helpful and useful. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.